Hello everyone and welcome back to Crawl's Gaming. Today we are going to take a look at VirtuaVerse. This cyberpunk point-and-click adventure game promises to take you to a time where virtual reality fused with reality. Whether it can deliver on its promise is the question we will try to answer today. VirtuaVerse is available on Steam for €14.99, your regional equivalent. Loud 8-bit music. Logo of various group in large ASCII characters. Copying the crack. We all know the procedure. We all pirated games at one point in our lives, and those who say they didn't do it to this very day. The VirtuaVerse scene got started way back in the 70s, and you could say that free games were almost just a side product. Sometimes, the awesome crack trope, the song that plays alongside crack, is more important to the cracking group than the crack itself. Then we have demos. But do not, seriously, do not mistake these for demo versions of games. Demos are little animations. A whole another scene exists around demos. They are the true peak of what cyberpunk guys loved back in the 90s. Not only you have to be good at coding, graphics and music, you also need to be extremely efficient. The demos have to fit in 4 to 64 kilobytes while looking impressive. To achieve this, you have to know the software and the hardware, as often you are using bugs in both to get your amazing results. The demo scene is actually where the term lamer comes from. It originally was used for those who were only observing and could not code themselves. But even getting called a lamer was worth it, because there is nothing more nostalgic than demos when it comes to 90s cyberpunk. Or maybe, just maybe, you could just play VirtuaVerse. The lead author of VirtuaVerse is a person known as MBR, which stands for Master Boot Record. When you search for him on Spotify, you will find a fascinating fusion of metal and 8-bit music where the drums are played by a working floppy disk drive. MBR created a story of VirtuaVerse, but also made its amazing music. Apart from MBR, only 2 other people worked on VirtuaVerse. Mr. Ballenberg, who did the graphics and animation, and Elder001, who did the coding. The Pixar graphics are perfect for translating the doom of a cyberpunk world, and for those who are true lovers of retro, the game emulates a graphics technique known as Mode 7. This technique was used back on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, or better known as the Super NES, to move and rotate the background layers, giving the 2D game sort of a 3D feel. VirtuaVerse is full of such nods to the good old days, and I'm 100% sure that I missed 90% of them. But for example, at one point you find a floppy disk that includes a real demo, which includes a clue to solving a puzzle. I really cannot think of a better love letter to the 90s computer subculture. You get to play as a computer enthusiast and hacker named Nathan. One day Nathan wakes up to find out that his girlfriend locked him in his apartment and left under mysterious circumstances, leaving just a single message: "Don't follow me." But yeah, who would do that? So you go and try to find her. Along the way you will get to travel through a world where virtual reality became, well, just reality. People have VR chips implanted into their brains and thus see the world quite differently. Only castaways have no chips, and Nathan is one of them. Nathan only peers into the VR world using a homemade VR kit. You can use this kit anytime, but you do not have to use it. But each environment you visit has 2 distinct looks. One in the real world, and the second one in the VR world. The virtual and real worlds create an interesting contrast. For example, when you see a homeless person in real life, you will see his suit-bearing avatar in VR. Almost as a tradition, the story is about the effects of technology on a human society. But it is not that deep. In VirtuaVerse, The nostalgia is more important than philosophical dissertations about neo-humanism. And I really like the fact that authors weren't afraid to leave their comfort zone of cyberpunk and show people and environments that were affected by the VR revolutions in ways you might not expect. Sadly, the closer you are to the ending, the more the rush in which the game was created seems to seep in. The puzzles towards the end are completely illogical, and the final ending really cheapens the rest of the story. It really left me with a sad feeling, as if the authors run out of time, funds, and just put all the stuff they already had to get something out. But the gameplay itself is quite traditional. You go to locations, put on and take off your VR kit, talk to characters and gather items. The inventory is infinite and everything, seriously everything, will be useful at some point. You can combine things and use them with stuff out in the world. Essentially, the game is a retro trip back to the end of the 90s. Yet somehow, it felt refreshing. And if there is one thing that is truly different about VirtuaVerse compared to modern adventure games, is the difficulty. There is no sort of helping game, and it is very easy to get stuck for hours. Sometimes you cannot progress until you find the correct pixel to interact with, or randomly come up with such a complicated solution that you would never ever use other means to find it other than just combining anything with everything. And I will admit, I was frustrated to no end with this. Yet at the same time, I was completely enjoying it. So, in conclusion, in the end, VirtuaVerse was a great nostalgia trip back to the time when Broken Sword and Simon the Sorcerer reigned supreme. The old school difficulty fits the game perfectly. And if you are even the teeniest bit interested in old school cyberpunk and how the computer scene looked back in the 90s, VirtuaVerse is an adventure game you should not miss. And even if you don't buy the game, be at least sure to look up MBR on Spotify and listen to his music. It is truly amazing. So, that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the review, and if you did, please consider giving it a like here on YouTube, subscribing to the channel, and sharing it with your friends. And comment if you have anything you would like to add. See you guys later with more gaming content.